Good afternoon, everybody. If you would please get in so where you can see. Those speakers that are speaking at this time have seats in the front, and Moulds family, Courtney, Christy, George, please come on up.
Aloha. Yay. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thank you all for being here to celebrate our beloved Steve. My name is Carly Van Orsdel. I am Steve and Betsy's niece, and I have the honor of kicking things off today. Our family has Hawaiian roots on Betsy's side, and I'm a hula dancer, so I have selected a Hawaiian blessing to start. It is entitled Olile. Olile tells the story of the creation of the Hawaiian Islands. There was a family who held the gift of fire and carried it looking for the right spot. And when Pele found the right spot, she planted her fire in the ground. And that created the volcanoes that built the Hawaiian Islands. And Steve, our great adventurer, traveled the world carrying his fire, his passion for humanity, for community, for agriculture, and he planted it, literally and figuratively, in the lives that he touched and the communities that he supported, and right here on this land where we've gathered to celebrate him today. Steve's passion is burning right now, in us, in these grapes, and in so many ways yet to be revealed. So this is Olile. Ke le maila o taula I ke kaie, ke malama lama o ni iha ua malie, a malie pakainu vaila, ke inu vaila na hala o na we I ke kai, no na we ka hala, no puna tabahine, no talua no I kilauea. Ai. Thank you, mahalo, mahalo. A toast to Steve. Steve, we honor you with this blessing, your life, your impact, your legacy, to all the fires you have lit which continue to burn. Thank you. And now I should introduce a lady who needs no introduction, our beautiful hostess, Betsy Moulds.
Wow. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. You're all here, I know, to celebrate Steve and the wonderful effects he's had on our lives. I wanted to give you, I have to have my notes here, of course, wanted to give you a little picture of what happened when Steve and I first met. It was a really brief visit. Scott Harrison, who was a high school buddy of his and turned out my college roommate, introduced us as Steve. This was in 1967. As Steve had just come back from the Peace Corps in Honduras, and I was about to take off to my stint in the Peace Corps in Brazil. And Scott thought that maybe we could learn something, that I could be inspired by some of the things that he could tell me, or, remember to take my Diamox or whatever. Anyway, it was a short half-an-hour meeting, and that was it. No fireworks, no batting of eyelids. So, and I went off several months later, went to Brazil. and spent my 2 years there working in rural community development. And when I returned, I came back to San Jose State to get my teaching credential. And I parked at a friend's parking spot and right behind their home. And as I came around, there's Steve chatting with a bunch of folks out front. And what are you doing? He was protesting the war in Cambodia. And he said, what are you doing? I said, I'm going to go get my teacher's credential. So keep up the good work, but I'm going to go work on my future. And that's how we first re-met. And then we, as we had mutual friends, we started running into each other. So I went to my trusty astrological charts to learn a little bit more about this Sagittarius that I had met. And I learned a couple of things, and they were true to this very day. And one, it said, never say no to Steve. You can say how, and as you know, his saying of always, sí, se puede. Steve always found a way to do something. No was not in his vocabulary. And the other thing I learned about was that this man had an adventurous spirit. So these two things I learned back in 1969 or 70. So I kind of knew what I was getting into, kind of. So we married in 72, and we loved to talk about our future, to dream. What are the things we wanted to do? What excited us? And we spent our whole lives working together towards our dreams. Working together, we supported each other in our efforts. We acknowledged each other's talents along the way. And really, Bette Midler said it best when she said that we were the breath beneath each other's wings, because that's really how I see it. And we both agreed to that always. And Steve, in his very precious way, told me that when we got married that, Betsy, I'm going to tell you I love you every day. And he did. So our dreams became a reality. We lived a really full, rewarding life with many wonderful people that came in and out of it. And a lot of who are still here today, which is wonderful. We had fun raising our two terrific children, wonderful kids. We repotted ourselves here in Napa and started a next journey here, and really went into it whole hog, really loved it. We've enjoyed many adventures together and separately, as you probably notice in the pictures down the way. And we returned to Honduras to continue our Peace Corps sort of essence of helping out after the results of Hurricane Mitch. So we really had a very full, round life that has kept us really active. Couldn't have asked for anything more. I really think that Steve was just a wonderful partner, and we did lots of wonderful things together. And I wanted to let you know that today we are celebrating in his style. We're having a big party right here in the vineyard, which he loved. We're having the wines made by our wonderful winery partners from here, except for the Sauv Blanc, which is made by the Barons, but all the rest comes from this land, and you can taste the differences of the different winemakers if you enjoy. That's why I recommend little pours, so you can taste a lot of different things. Anyway, Steve loves street food. Everywhere he went, he ate street food. And I'm always going, I want it cooked, please. And not true. So here we have cooked street food. So yeah, we have street foods for you to have as tidbits along the way. We have wonderful music we've enjoyed. We started out with opera. One of the things that we loved sharing together. I took Steve to his first opera, Siegfried. Wagner. Yeah, well, but he loved mythology, so it was perfect. Anyway, so, and then he loves the ranchero music coming up and Americana music. So it's Party Steve style. So, and you can see the last projects that we've been working on at the legacy table over there, and a lot of his adventurous activities, including his very heavy Antarctica boots that are down there too. You have the program, so do keep an eye on it because we're going to try to stay on time. And with that, I'd like to introduce the other two speakers that are on this first go-round. Our goddaughter, Binniee Padilla Herrera McGraw. When Steve returned to Honduras to help after Hurricane Mitch in 1998, she was 11 years old. Her grandparents are Steve's closest friends, Ismael and Aide Herrera, and they are still our close friends today. Both Hayden and Reed have gone back to country and lived with Ismael and Aide to work on the projects that we've started there and started some of their own. And so Binniee was a poet when we first met her. She's a scholar. She's a new mother and married to her wonderful husband, David McGraw. And after Binniee will come Chuck C.L. Bowen. Chuck's a class of 1962 in Los Altos High School. He and Steve enjoyed many pranks together. I don't know if you'll hear any of those today. Maybe. And also, I look at him as a class correspondent because in Hawaii we have something called a coconut wireless. You know, one coconut a string and the other coconut. And Chuck keeps in touch. He calls us about every 2 months and calls everybody and tells us all what everybody else is doing. So Chuck will be speaking as well. Oh, shoot, one more thing. Dave Laveton, a Peace Corps volunteer with us, with Steve back in Honduras, was supposed to speak today and couldn't. So I have his brief letter that he's written that I'll read to you, if I might. So, Dear Betsy, as I sit here on Wednesday, September 8th, having returned from Cape Cod yesterday, I'm thinking of my dear friend Steve and how much I miss him. About a month ago, I told our group that I was going to pen a few thoughts about Steve and our Peace Corps experiences and ask for input. Those who answered pretty much remember the same way I do. During Peace Corps training, both in Puerto Rico and Carbondale, Illinois, I remember Steve's example of daring do. At first, I thought it was just him trying to show off that he was up to the task of the rest of us who were a bit older than he was. But as the years passed and we both grew up to what we would be inevitably, I realized that it was just his nature to push himself to be the best he could be and not just to show off. While we were in Honduras in 64 to 69, I really didn't get a chance to see much of Steve. He was stationed in the south, and I was in the eastern part of Honduras. Occasionally, we would find ourselves together in Tegus on supposedly official Peace Corps business. But in truth, I think it was more about just getting together with the others at our favorite pension to hang out after the business was done, take in a movie or play hearts all night long. Living in a small village with no running water or electricity, going into the capital was something I, for one, looked forward to at least once a month. A 38-mile trip that took over 2 hours on bumpy, unpaved mountain roads. Early on in our assignment, I remember the talk about Donna Teresa's pension in Tegus about how Steve rode a bull in a rodeo. Apparently, it was the talk all over the South. The gringo who rode the bull. I don't think Steve ever tried that before, but that wasn't going to stop him. The only ones truly not surprised were the Peace Corps volunteers. That was just Steve being Steve. And there is a picture of him on a bull around the corner, and the bloody shirt above to show what happened. He saved that all these years. Okay, so luckily for me, I really got to know Steve and to appreciate him when we long gone from Honduras, and I would get together with him when he came out from New Jersey to San Francisco. I think our first get-together was in Portola Valley, where I was introduced to his young child, and I remember Steve saying, "Say hello to Mr. Laveton." And I turned around to see if my father was here. That's him. Between our phone conversations we had over the past few years, or hiking with him around the property on the path he had built for Betsy, and learning about his latest physical exploits, whether it was climbing Mount Kilimanjaro or trekking to the poles, made me believe he was indefatigable, invincible. It also, during these get-togethers that I also learned that and appreciated his decency and humanity. It was for this reason that the medical problems that he encountered these last couple of years was such a shock to me. And for this reason, his sudden passing left me more bereft than I thought possible. It was as if I truly lost a brother. There are a few higher Jewish compliments than to call someone a mensch. It defines a person who can be relied on to act with honor and integrity, is kind and also considerate. If anyone deserves that appellation, it is Steve. To his friends and grandchildren, I leave them with a saying that I was once told. My father didn't tell me how to live. He lived and let me watch him do it. So with much love to Betsy and Steve's extended family, Dave Laveton. Christine?
Hi everyone. As Ms. Betsy introduced me, my name is Binniee Maria Padilla Herrera de McGraw. In this country, just Binniee McGraw, it's shorter. You don't have enough paper for the whole thing. I was 11 years old when I met them, and at this point, I felt they were the greatest people in the whole world, not knowing that truly they are, but at this point, they were gifting chocolate. I still remember mine was big, shiny, orange. It was infused with orange. It's fantastic, best chocolate ever. But, 11 years old, surviving a hurricane, first time you see your mom and dad crying. There's no food, there's no water, everything's chaos, and the whole country is the same. So, but we're kind of forgotten. So we were like that for a week, and then they came, and they felt like, sorry, they felt like guardian angels. And so yeah, Mr. Steve was a great person, kind. True altruism, so is Miss Betsy and all his family. I learned many lessons from him. Be kind, never give up. One of my favorite stories is, which I'm gonna try to read to you or paraphrase, is of the boy that saved the starfish. For those that are not familiar, it goes something like that. A man was walking down a beach where he saw a boy picking up something from the sand and throwing it back into the sea again and again. As he got closer to the boy, the old man saw that the beach was covered by thousands and thousands of starfish. And the man asked the boy, "What are you doing?" And the boy replied, "Throwing a starfish into the ocean. So the sun is up and the tide is going out, and I don't know. Even if I don't throw them back, they will die." And the man said, "Don't you realize that there are miles and miles of beach and starfish all along it? You can possibly make a difference." After listening politely, the boy reached down, picked up another starfish, gently tossed it into the sea, and said, "It make a difference to this one." So I feel like that describes Steve Moulds to the T. I'm one of his starfish, I think. My village is super tiny, and I feel that, it's compared to all the sadness and all the bigger projects people have when they want to do altruism, when they want to donate things, we're really way, way, way at the bottom. It's like kind of like in between, you know? A really poor country, everyone thinks Haiti, Nicaragua is close, we're the third one. But we never, people don't even know where Honduras is sometimes. So the few tiny small things that he has done in my country, they make a difference to each and everyone in my small village. He helped to bring food, he coordinated, he was one of the pioneers to have our first cooperativa in my village. He told me the story that when he just arrived in town and he's coordinating people to create colors and sell it back here, and he's telling them, but you don't spend all the money, you create, and to this day, the cooperative still exists. So he is just, it's endless, seriously. We can write a book about him. So I'm just gonna finish up. I don't wanna take too much time. I know we're running behind. This saying that says that life is eternal and love is immortal and love is only a horizon. And that is only a horizon. And a horizon is nothing save the limit of our sight. We don't know where that takes us. We don't know what the horizon is, but we only can hope that we're gonna see, we're gonna get together with the stimulus somewhere there. So thank you.
Hello, C.L. Bowen. I met Steve in 1954, San Antonio School, Cupertino. Steve's generosity is legend. I can't tell you how many Niner games I went to care of Steve. And when my son was having a hard time with a loss in our family, I said, man, I'll call up Steve. He got us a personal tour of Niner Central with R.C. Owens. Man, if that didn't pick my kid up. And me. Anyhow, I wanted to end this on a lighter note. Steve loved his challenges. We know that. Kilimanjaro, 90 South, buses. Well, I don't know if the Moulds people know about this one. And you're going, buses? Okay, so Los Altos had a football game with Monterey, and we're taking a bus to Monterey. And Steve and I yucked about this earlier, and I don't think you know, but anyhow, so we had to make a pit stop halfway there, and everybody piles off the bus. You got a full team and coaches, 30, 40 people. And, everybody piles back on the bus, and we start we start leaving. And, 20 seconds, 30 seconds. Where's Steve? God. Well, there he is. He's chasing the bus. And it was a good ways. I mean, he was like, Gary, 200-300 yards back there, man. So we stopped the bus. Anyhow, so later, Steve became a bus driver. So that, you know that, right? Okay, and what I failed to say from 1954 is Steve and I are brothers. Thank you for all being here and letting me talk.
Well, I just wanted to let everybody know that it's time to take a break, and at 3:30, we'll be back with some more fun stories.